Hello, everybody. I just wanted to jump on quickly to kind of explain where we're going next with our research. So we've been working on finding research on our natural disaster topics. We've been working in our small groups, we've been watching videos, and we now have all of this information, and we want to organize it in a way that is going to be easier so we can start writing about it. So yesterday we started talking about the graphic organizer that I put together. And this was kind of to give us an idea of how we are going to organize that information. So, for example, my topic is tsunamis. I'm going to talk about in my introduction what are tsunamis. Maybe I'll give a fact. Maybe I'll give kind of a description what tsunamis are. Maybe I'll give a statistic of how many tsunamis there are in a year, or maybe like one of the most deadly tsunamis that there are. That's what I'm going to talk about in my introduction. I'm not worried about that today, but that's where I'm going with my introduction eventually. The next thing that I'm worried about is, and we really want to plan this out, is the 3 different subtopics or headings that we are going to use to organize our research. We learned about headings when we started talking about nonfiction text structures and features. We looked at headings as a way to organize that information. So the way that I'm going to organize my writing is I'm going to use the subtopics or headings: what causes tsunamis to happen, wind waves versus normal waves, wind waves versus tsunami waves, and then damages that tsunamis can cause. Those are the 3 different headings I'm going to use in my writing to organize my writing and tell my reader what I know about my natural disaster. We've become experts in them at this point. So it's important that we now are able to write it in a way that makes sense. In my conclusion, I'm going to talk about how tsunamis impact how tsunamis can impact the landform, and I'm going to tie around all of these parts. So today what we're going to be working on is kind of looking through our research and organizing it so that we can easily access it to start typing. So for my first topic, right here, it's always going to be what you are doing. So mine's tsunamis. And then what I'm going to do to fill out this subtopic number 1 or the question heading, I'm going to go right back up here. This should be something that is short, a little question that you will ask your readers before they begin reading your next paragraph. So what causes tsunamis to happen? That is my heading, that's my question, that's my subtopic, that is what I'm going to be talking about. Now I need to go through my research and find what causes tsunamis to happen. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and then I'm going to come back and show you. So in one of the articles that I read when I was doing my research was this tsunamis article from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. We know that it's a reliable source because it says U.S. Department, and it's a .gov website. I don't know if you could see that on the top of my screen. So we're going to scroll down here. So remember that I'm looking now for research that will support what causes tsunamis to happen. Look at this. I go on here, it says what causes tsunamis. This is the research that I need to support my point. What causes them to happen? It says most tsunamis are caused by earthquakes on converging tectonic plate boundaries. According to the Global Historical Tsunami Database, since 1900, over 80% of likely tsunamis are generated by earthquakes. However, tsunamis can also be caused by landslides, volcanic activity, and certain types of weather. What I'm going to do now is take that information that I just read and put it back into my graphic organizer so that I have it for when I decide to start typing. So tsunamis are caused mostly by... Alright, so I paused real quick so I can show you how I put my research into this graphic organizer so that when I go back to start writing, I have this information already. So now my question is, what causes tsunamis to happen? I used the article that I had already read about tsunamis, and then I took what I read and summed it up into one point right here. So I said tsunamis are caused mostly by earthquakes. They can also be caused by volcanic eruptions, certain types of weather, and even landslides. So when you go to do this, you want to make sure that you go back to your research, you think about the point that you are trying to make, or whatever the question is that you pose, and then you're going to use that research. You're going to get that research and put it into this graphic organizer so we have it when we start writing. If you have any more questions, please reach out. before I end this video, I'll show you how to do the next one. So the next one I would just put as tsunamis. And again, I'm scrolling up here, looking at the subtopic number 2, which is wind waves versus normal waves. Wind waves, which are normal waves, and tsunami waves. And I'm putting that right here. And then I would go back into another article that I read that told me all about what tsunamis and wind waves were. That is how you set this up, and hopefully this will help you as you start your research. I will talk to you guys soon. If you have any questions, please reach out.